Good evening. Welcome to game number 4 for the round robin portion. Gorman currently just out of range for advancing into the playoffs. Currently 1 point behind Lake Forest Academy. That game coming up here in a few minutes. Gorman wearing white, Lake Forest Academy in pumpkin orange. Gorman coming off a hard battle a few hours ago against Team Illinois, game ending 2-0 with 2 power play goals in favor of Team Illinois. Gorman 1-1-1 so far through the tournament, and win here will punch their ticket into the semifinal matchup. Games would be tomorrow, 10:50, 11 o'clock, thereabouts, depending on what happens. Gorman needing to lock this one down in order to advance. Lake Forest 2-0-1 so far this weekend, with a loss to a team out of Colorado. All right. Kicking off the game for Gorman, Mesa, Davis, and Klaus for your forward crew. Faircloth in net for Gorman. And at the blue line, starting out, Posner and Trent. Davis in for the faceoff. Gorman wins it back to Trent at the blue line. D-line pass. Posner walks it up, sends it down low. Mesa and Davis on the forecheck stop back behind the net. Picked up by Trent at the blue line. Fed across, picked off, and chipped out the other way. Posner on the back check. Poke checked out by Trent. Fed around the boards to Klaus along the near wall. Trying to hit Davis. Fed through, shot, deflected wide. Save, Faircloth, fed out to the blue line. Pad save. Comes out to Mesa. Mesa sends it up. Bouncing puck in the neutral zone. Gorman trying to squeeze in a change. Lake Forest dumps it in. Picked up by Posner at the hash marks. And Lake Forest going to back up into their territory. Godino on the press. Chipped in, and Lake Forest goes for a change. Pass Fish. Godino ushers it in. That's going to get scooped up at the hash marks. Picked up by Westwood and picked off the other way. Rubino on the back check. Lake Forest at the blue line waiting for it. Puck comes out. Westwood at the blue line for Gorman. Cross-ice pass to Fish. Lost it at his feet. And they're going to send it back in their own territory for a regroup. Pass off the near boards. Academy brings it in. Westwood poke checks it off. Through the legs pass to Godino. He's going to wire it in. Still in play. Hit the netting, but in play. Off the glass. Lobbed up. Bouncing puck on the near side. No one there for Gorman. Godino battling at the blue line. Forces him around. Loose at the face-off dot. Fed back to the blue line. Cross-ice pass. Johnson with a hit. Shoves him off. Fed back down low. Puck stuck behind the net. Loose out front. Johnson sends it into the corner. Trying to feed Westwood. Loose out front by himself is Lake Forest Academy. And that's launched up and out of play. Gorman a little slow off a 2-hour turnaround between games. And they have a D-zone draw coming up. Puck sent around the board by Baldy. Fitzy feeds it, clears. Creel on a foot race. No icing. It's got Johnson posted out front. Puck sent around the far side. Poke checked off by Fitzy. And they'll regroup. Pass to the middle. Walked in. Shot. Off the glove. Goes wide. Chipped up. Out to Baldy. Baldy through the neutral zone's got a man on him. Trying to send it deep. Gets tied up. Fitzy has in the corner. Trying to send it along the goal line. Bouncing puck at the faceoff dot. And Lake Forest brings it back the other way. Jennings trying to fish that one out. Shot. Center mass. Save. Faircloth. Jennings, Tritton, Bonifazio, Trent, and Rubino. Jennings in for the faceoff. Lake Forest wins it back. Picked off by Tritton. Tritton walks it up. Poke checked off, couldn't get a shot off. Bonifazio comes in to support. Puck leaks out the far corner. Center on the boards, kept in play by Rubino. Chips it back down low to Tritton. Off the skate. Near side, chipped back by Trent. Lake Forest clears it through. Out to Rubino, and he sends it down. Dumps it in, off a glove. Player hurt, he's gonna make his way to the bench. Bonifazio dangling through, poke checked off his stick. Stretch pass out, almost intercepted by Rubino. And he's gonna cycle back, send it down low. And Gorman going to try to squeeze in a partial change. Rubino cycles it back to Trent. Out to Bonifazio. Bonifazio chipped in by Klaus. And Lake Forest brings it back the other way. Stretch pass out to the feet of Davis. Chipped it, couldn't field it. And Gorman trying to squeeze in a D-change. Pass blocked by Davis. Shot off a body. Still in play. Puck bouncing airborne. Glove down by Larison. Larison feeds back out to the weak side. Bouncing puck. Fed out to Davis through the center. Chips it down low. Cycles it back to Luong by himself with the ref. Loose. in the slot, and Lake Forest brings it back the other way. Feeds it through, reverse the other direction out to Mesa. Mesa sending it to Davis. Miscommunication. He was going in for a change. Davis sends it across. No icing. Westwood on the forecheck, and it comes back out to Luong. Couldn't get there in time. Breakout pass denied by Fish. Lost at the feet. And Godino comes in, feeds it down to Luong. Wasn't expecting that one, and Gorman's going to regroup back behind the net. 9:30 remaining in the first period. Chipped around by Larison. Sent back the other way. Through the middle, no one there. Lake Forest keeps it in play. Stick lift. Picked up. Luong to Westwood. He's going to set it down low. Cycled back the other way. Fish on the back check. Posner trying to poke check that one out. Makes his way back behind the goal line. Sent around the boards by Gorman. Fed back down low. Pass, no one there. Posner chips it off the boards. And he's got Westwood one-on-one the other way. Dangles it through, high in the slot. Couldn't get the shot off, walks it up. Shot short side off the pads. Godino sends it around the boards, trying to hit ball. He gets picked up along the way. Lake Forest feeds it through, couldn't connect. And Posner chips it, picked up. Shot up and over. And Cass Johnson on the forecheck the other way, gets picked off. Creel on the back check. And Lake Forest sends it back into their own zone. Lobbing pass, glove down, couldn't connect. Cass Johnson, Rubino on the back check. Ball, Trent there, forces it out the other way. Fitzy couldn't clear. Johnson feeds it back down low to the blue line. Creel comes in, forces a pass to the near wall. Lobbed in to the feet of Rubino, fed back the other way. Defenseman playing catch as Trent brings it back behind the net. Flushed out. Sends it out to Jennings. Jennings walks it in. Tries stuffing it short side, picked up by the defenseman. And Lake Forest sends it around far side, squeaks through. And Gorman trying to get a quick reload. Feeds back. Lake Forest reverses it. Rubino got a window. Walks it up, face-off dot, dangles through, couldn't get a shot off. Bouncing puck kept in by Tritton, fed low. Out to Jennings. Luong in at the blue line, out to Tritton, shot off the pad into the near corner. Larison keeps it in play. Stretch pass out the other way. That's going to be an icing. And going to come on back into Lake Forest territory for a face-off. Gorman picking up the pace after a slow start. Face-off coming up. Jennings, Tritton, Bonifazio, Larison, and Luong. 6:45 remaining in the first. Jennings in for the face-off. Comes out in favor of Lake Forest. Tritton almost comes away with it out of the corner. Lake Forest clearing pass, picked up by Larison. Fed back through to Jennings. Jennings sends it in off a body. Tritton sends it down low. Sent around the boards. Out to Larison, keeps it in play. Chips it down low again. Lake Forest going to try the other side. Luong bounces it, takes a hit. Tritton feeds it back down low again. Larison pinches up, keeps it in the zone, walks up, feeds it out. Shot, Klaus goes just wide. Initially trying to hit Davis and just out of position. Lost an edge, picked up, and Larison prevents an opportunity right out front of the net. Mesa working the corner with Posner. Loose on the far wall, picked through into the middle, chipped out to Davis. Davis poke checks it. Forest Academy gets there. Davis tags up. Mesa walks it in. Shot. Loose. Out front. Klaus shot. Stuck under the pad. And Mesa there trying to punch it in. And they will blow that one dead. Another face-off coming up in Lake Forest territory. Fish, Godino, Westwood, Trent, and Rubino. Fish in for the face-off. Wins it back. Westwood cycles around. Pass out front, shot. Pad save, Fish. Had a shot there. Goalie was able to come away with it. Fed back down low. Westwood walks it up short along the side of the net. Trent sends it back around the boards. No one there for Gorman. Fish comes in. Westwood to support. And Lake Forest brings it back the other way. Rubino on the back check. Presses him off the puck. Fed back through, clears the zone. Godino almost gets there in time to steal it, and it's going to get walked in. Gorman territory, loose in the slot. As Godino brings it, chips it out. Goalie's going to come out and field that one. Send it across, empty net. Fed through, shot, Creel off the pad. Puck comes out in the near corner. Bouncing puck the opposite side. Walked in, denied, and Godino's got room on the other side. He's going to lob it in, go for a change. Opposite corner, goalie says, I'm not doing that again, and stays in the crease. Lake Forest chips it through, picked up, Luong with the stick, but there's an opportunity here, shoveled wide. Cash Johnson battling along the near boards. Luong comes in. Fed it to the face-off dot. Shot. Loose out front. Goal. And Lake Forest Academy makes it a 1-0 game. And Gorman find themselves down 1 with 3:40. Creel, Johnson, Fitzy, Bosner, and Baldy. Creel fires it down low. Puck loose at the goal line. Lake Forest comes away with it. Along the near wall, pass out to the far side. Picked off by Posner. Forced off the puck. Loose at the feet, fed to Baldy. Chips it out of reach of Creel. And Lake Forest bounces back the other way over the stick of Baldy. He's along the near side, turned it over. Behind the slot, shot up and over. Bouncing puck into the far corner. And in the near corner, Lake Forest comes away with it. Tries to cycle it back, stuffed by Baldy. And Jennings trying to clear off a body, rejected, and it comes back the other way. Lob through. And Lake Forest brings it back in, walks it up. Shot off the blocker, goes wide. And clears the zone. Tritton comes in. Lake Forest winds up, sends it down low. Goal. Mesa, Klaus, Davis, Trent, and Rubino. Davison for the faceoff. Kicked out. Lake Forest comes away with it. Picked up by Davis at the blue line. Offsides. Davis was at the blue line as he deflected it in. Lake Forest wins it back. Right out on the far side. Sent around the boards. Chipped out. Couldn't clear. Davis comes in to support. Davis has it in the corner. Cycles it back the other way to Trent on the weak side. Lobs it up. He's got Klaus. Denied in the neutral zone. Fish comes in. And Lake Forest brings it back the other way. Rubino to Trent. Pass out to Fish on the far side. Huge hit along the boards, no call. Larison chips it. Feeds out to Westwood, poke checked off. Larison gets tied up trying to send it in. Long lone defenseman in the back. Cycles back, no one there for Gorman. Loose out front, picked up by Larison. Larison gets tied up by his own player. Shot off the pads, kept in by Luong. Shot off the blocker, loose out front, in the slot, and Lake Forest sends it back the other way. There should be a nice cut. And that's now 3-0. Two seconds remaining in the first period. There should be a nice cut between the first and second. Started out with a pretty messy sheet. All right, just going to call that one here. Close out the period. We will head over to a nice cut, and we'll see you in a bit. All right, getting ready to kick off the second period. We had a cut earlier in this game than the others. Gorman trailing 3-0 to kick off the second. Shots on goal 7-6 in favor of Gorman. All right, looks like goalie change for Gorman. Skoska's going to come out. Start out the second. And up front, Godino, Fish, Westwood, Trent, and Posner. Fish in for the faceoff. Comes out in favor of Gorman. Posner feeds it out to Trent, back to Posner. Pass out, no one there, and that'll be an icing. Faceoff coming up in Gorman's defensive zone. Comes out in favor of Academy. Along the near wall. Fed down low, interrupted by Westwood. Pass back out to the far wall, high in the slot, or midway in the slot, no one there covering. And that is going to be an icing. And coming back. Looks like goalie went back to field that one when they blew the whistle, and they're going to bring it center ice instead. Fitzy, Johnson, Creel, Rubino, and Baldy. Academy wins the face-off. Creel down low, pass out. That's going to be an icing. And it's going to come on back into Lake Forest territory. Johnson in for the puck drop. Comes out in favor of Gorman. Creel battling and chipped out the other way. One-on-one, Rubino. Pass picked up by Rubino. Couldn't clear. And Johnson comes back the other way. Lost the stick. Lost an edge, sorry. And it comes back the other direction. Pass broken up. Comes out to Davis. Oh, no, sorry. Johnson. Fitzy feeds it down low. Picked up at the hash marks and sent back the other way. Rubino intercepts that one. Sends the puck just left of the net. Pass comes out, picked up by Baldy along the near boards, fed back down low. Pass broken up by Baldy. Dumps it in, takes a hit. Klaus pushes him off the puck. Drops back to Mesa. Feeds it out to Davis. Shot through the crease. Klaus couldn't feel that one on the open side. He's got Davis out front. Brings her out in the crease. No one there for Gorman on the strong side. And comes back the other way. Tied up by Davis. Mesa picks it up, sends it around the boards. No one there for Gorman. Lake Forest going to get there, feeds it back. Pass broken up. As Larison chips it off the boards. Pass the other way, no one there. Lake Forest is going to get there for Gorman. Laskoska comes out. Able to stuff that one. Gorman overshoots the puck, turned over. Pass out to the other side. Davis pushes him off the puck. Fed back down low. Shot off the shoulder. Pass through the crease and covered by Laskoska. 11:59 remaining in the second period. Jennings, Tritton, Bonifazio, Baldy and Posner. Puck comes out of Bonifazio. Trying to get the clear, scooped up by Lake Forest. Fed back down low, intercepted by Trent. Poked off to stick. And Lake Forest brings it back the other way. Jennings chips it up the boards, trying to hit Tritton in motion. And Trent going to take a penalty. And Gorman will go on the penalty kill. Rubino, Baldy, Westwood, and Gudino will serve the PK. Westwood in for the face-off. Goes back out to Lake Forest, kept in play at the face-off dot, through the slot, no one there. Lake Forest looking for another opportunity high in the slot, back to the near wall. Loose up front, cleared, not enough. And that one does clear. Gudino forcing him the other way, turned over. And Larison comes in. Gorman's defense loosened the crease. Westwood couldn't get a shot off. Poke checked out by Larison. Gudino pushes him off the puck. Academy wasn't expecting both forwards over there. Westwood, it's got Larison. Loose out front, shot. Off the blocker, goes wide. As Fitzy comes in for Gorman. Pass broken up by Larison. Trying to feed it back to Larison, gets tied up, and Westwood, long shift for him. He's going to head over to the bench. Posner poke checks that one. Lake Forest recovers, brings it in the zone, feeds it down low, brushed aside. Goal. And it is a 4-0 game. On a power play goal for Lake Forest Academy. Johnson wins it back to Luong. Luong press him off the puck, back behind the goal line, fed through, picked back up, fed back down low. Creel comes in, sends it across. Fitzy on the forecheck. Bouncing puck through the faceoff dot. Chipped around the boards. Trying to hit Creel in motion and covered by the goaltender. Davis, Klaus, Mesa, Baldy, and Rubino. Davis in for the faceoff. Davis comes away with it, bounces through. Fed out, Klaus, shot, hits Davis. Out front, sent around to the far side. Mesa comes in, ties it up, comes out to Rubino. Rubino feeds it back down low. Picked up by Mesa in the far corner. Shot, loose up front, picked up by Mesa, follow-up shot, loose. Davis gets a stick on it, and Lake Forest able to clear. Back the other way. Baldy feeds it back out. Misconnection, trying to hit Davis. That one's going to get stopped by the goaltender. Blocks it up, and it's going to be a penalty. And Rubino will head to the box for Gorman. Hooking will be the call. Westwood, Godino, Posner, and Trent in for the penalty kill. Fed through, shot, covered by Laskoska. Godino in for the puck drop. Comes out in favor of Lake Forest. Cross ice pass, back the other way. Westwood almost picks that one up. Picked up by Trent. Taken off the puck. Shot, loose, and cleared, denied. Back to the far side. Shot goes wide. Misconnection, shot goes up and over. Bad bounce right at the goal line. High in the slot. Shot off the body of Westwood. Still in play. Westwood has in the corner, wires it, and clears. Godino in a foot race the other way. Tritton on the back check. Goal. Power play goal for Lake Forest Academy. Make it a 5-0 game. Jennings, Bonifazio, Tritton, Luong, and Baldy. Puck comes out to Luong, out to Baldy. Sends it in. Puck comes down along the near side. Baldy sends that one back down. Tritton working in the corner with Jennings. Jennings gives a bump. Fed through Luong there for Gorman. Bonifazio into support. Bonifazio on the far wall, looking to clear, kept in play. Tritton picks it up at the blue line through the neutral zone. Shot, center mass, and covered up by the goaltender. Fresh deep pair for Gorman. Rubino and Trent come out for the faceoff. Jennings in for the puck drop. At the feet of Bonifazio, and Jennings gets a shot off, hits a skate, goes wide. Trent back behind the net. That out to the far side. Bonifazio lobs it in. Is going to go for a change. As Creel, Johnson, and Fitzy come in. Shot loose out front, sent wide by Rubino. Shot, pad save, Laskoska. Creel in a foot race. Picked up by Johnson. Offsides. And we'll have a neutral zone face-off coming up. Larson and Posner at defense. Johnson in for the puck drop. Sends it in. Sent back to the near side. Stretch pass all the way out. Off the skate of Larson. Kept in play by Lake Forest. Larson forcing him, comes back high at the blue line. Shot sent wide by Posner. Johnson back behind the line. Chips it off the boards. The Creel couldn't field that one, and it's going to come back. Johnson trying to dump it in. Lake Forest picks it up. Larson makes the line, sends it down low. Goalie comes out to field that one again. As Godino, Fish, and Westwood take the ice. Puck sent around the far side. Back at the Baldy. Baldy wires it in. Boys will have to tag up. Lake Forest breaks through. Shot. Save. Laskoska. Lake Forest bring it back behind the goal line. Larson presses him off the puck. Comes out to Baldy. Chips it off the boards. Trying to hit Godino. That will be an icing. And it's going to come on back. Klaus, Davis, Mesa, Trent, and Luong in for the D-zone face-off. Davis in for the puck drop. Davis wins back to Trent. Sends bouncing puck. Glove down. Puck out near side. Trent sends it out to Davis. Davis takes a hit, pushed off the puck. Davis brings back the other way, 2-on-2 with Klaus. Chips it down low. Davis with a huge hit. Back behind the goal line. Luong feeds it out to Klaus. Couldn't field that one. Davis with the poke check, drops him down. Klaus walks it up. trying to feed Mesa. Klaus cycles around. Mesa back behind the goal line. He's got Trent out front. Couldn't connect on the shot. Jennings shot. Deflected wide. And the puck comes out the other way. Rubino back checking. Gets a stick in there. Jennings comes in with a hit. Rubino trying to hit Tritton off a skate. And the puck comes out. And through the neutral, left behind. Trent sends it down low on net. Lobbing pass the other way. That will be an icing with 2:34 remaining. 2:34 remaining in the second period. That comes out. Lake Forest Academy brings it across into the zone. Picked up by Bonifazio, sends it around the boards. Kept in play by Lake Forest Academy. Pad save. Tritton with a hit. Huge hit by Jennings. Shot short side, sent wide. And that'll be a stoppage of play. Lake Forest wins the faceoff shot. Bouncing puck up and left of the net. Sent around the near side. Fitzy in for Gorman. Forces a pass. Poke checked off. Trent with a hit. Stretch pass out to Creel. Picked up by Fitzy. Fitzy chips it off the boards. No one there for Gorman. Bouncing puck through the neutral zone. Trent ties it up. Shoveled out, denied by Lake Forest. Cash Johnson feeds it out to Fitzy. Shot loose. And Creel out front. Fish in for the face-off. Westwood comes away with it. Gets picked up by Lake Forest. Godino back behind the goal line, drops it back to Westwood. Sent wide by Lake Forest. Posner picks it up for Gorman, feeds it the other way. Gorman will have to tag up. And that will be an icing. .28 seconds remaining in the second period. Fish in for the puck drop. Wins it back. Posner wires it around. Sends it down low. And Lake Forest brings it back the other way. Chips it through. Posner with a hit along the boards. Fish dodges the hit, brings it back behind the Gorman net, sends it out to Westwood, denied by Lake Forest. Off a skate into the near board. And that'll wrap it up for the second period. Shot, glove save. Fish, Godino, Westwood, Luong, and Rubino. Fish in for the puck drop. And Lake Forest comes away with that one, brings it back the other way. Tied up by Rubino, picked up by Westwood at the hash marks, chipped off the boards, off a skate, trying to hit Godino. Fish has got a little room. Westwood sends it out to Fish. Shot loose out front, follow-up denied. Westwood tied up, and Lake Forest chips it out the other side. Rubino through the middle, shot off a skate. Bouncing puck back behind the goal line. Lake Forest comes away with it. Denied by Godino. Shot, couldn't get the shot off. Trent in for Gorman at defense. Puck sent out, still in play. Back behind the Gorman goal line. Westwood near side, wires it in, bouncing puck on net. Pad save. Trent comes in and sends it back down low. Jennings gives a hit back behind the play. Baldy sends it across, chipped by Lake Forest. And bouncing puck through the neutral zone. Picked up by Lake Forest, that is offsides. And we are running the clock here. Jennings wins the faceoff back to Larison, to Posner, back to Larison. Pass through to Jennings, couldn't connect. Lake Forest brings that back behind the net. Larison pitches up. Feeds it through. Bonifazio couldn't get the shot off, and it's going to come back the other way. Out on the far side, Posner forces a shot at a sharp angle. Lake Forest keeps it in play. Hit by Posner, fed through the slot. And no penalty there, not sure why. That was a pretty blatant tripping. Klaus in for Gorman, fresh off the bench. Cycle back the other way, no one there, no icing. Gorman squeezes in a change. Klaus breaks up the pass. Lake Forest chips it in. Drop back, Klaus chips it up. Davis on the forecheck. Gets sent out the other way at the blue line. Bouncing puck to the blue line. Out to Luong, near wall. Couldn't clear and fired back the other direction. Trent with a hit. Loose out front, shot goes wide. Mesa sends it out, trying to hit Davis. Picked up by Lake Forest. Shot, goal. Rubino chips it out, picked up by Lake Forest at the blue line. Creel battling along the near wall. Trying to hit. Rubino picked up by Lake Forest along the near wall. Lake Forest brings back the other way. Lake Forest comes away with it. Bouncing puck through the neutral zone. Lake Forest picks it up at the blue line. Leftover puck in the neutral zone. Picked up by Lake Forest and brought back the other direction. Penalty on Gorman. And they're just going to skate this one out. Clearing attempt denied. Tritton and Bonifazio for your forward crew. Larison and Posner on defense. Shot goes wide. Puck comes out to the blue line. Fed back down low. I got the blue line, far side. Shot blocked. Posner clears. Fitzy and Gudino. Gorman forward crew, Baldy and Luong. Gorman back to full strength. Puck comes out near side. Pass out. Creel couldn't connect on that one. No icing. Fitzy working back behind the goal line. Feeds it out to Luong. Couldn't connect. Klaus takes a hit. Passed out the other way, off the skate. Turned over, Godino walks it back in. Then goes through, shot off the blocker. Kicks back out to Klaus, couldn't get a shot off. And Lake Forest brings it back the other direction. Klaus walks it in, poke checked off a stick. Shot, short side, and covered. Davis wins the face-off. Clear attempt by Larson. Couldn't chip it out. Mesa picks it up along the near boards. Shovels it out to Davis, picks it up. Drops it back to Posner. Sends it down low, no one there. Mesa battling in the near corner. Davis comes in to support. Picked up by Larson, offsides. Pass intercepted by Larson. Brings out along the near wall. Gorman goes in for a partial change. Larson couldn't get the shot off. With about 4.5 minutes remaining in the third. Pass out to Tritton, couldn't connect. That will be an icing. And come on back. Pass went, or shot went wide, comes out to Tritton. Tritton shovels it out. And that will be an icing. Coming back the other way. Mesa walks it through, gets pressed off the puck. Jennings comes in to support. Fitzy. Jennings sends it down low. Fitzy posted out front. Puck cleared at the feet of Rubino. He sends it back down low. Loose puck picked up by Fitzgerald. And they're just going to let this one play out. Bounce the puck, glove down, brought back the other way. .115 remaining. Jennings sends it back into the far corner. Lobbing puck, glove down. Tritton sends it in. Klaus brings it back the other way. And that'll wrap it up. All right, that'll wrap it up for the weekend for Gorman. Gorman will be hitting the road again out to Anaheim in a few weeks. Stay tuned to see whether those games will be here or whether they will be on CIH Media. As the boys gear up for Silver Sticks later on this month on home ice at Las Vegas Ice Center back in Nevada. On that note, thanks for watching this weekend, and we'll see you next time.